TV. I am your servant, Mejina Kwesi, and I welcome you to the Law Legal Suit. This show or program is designed to let the public understand the need for us to learn the law, whether you are a legally inclined person or ordinary person. The reason being that majority of Ghanaians almost all the time get into troubles, or citizens across the world. Most of us think that the law or the laws that nations are used in administering the state or the society or regulate the society is meant for some specific group of people, which I believe is not the case. But in my view, the law is meant for everybody. You find it difficult to get people doing content on law because people don't really like watching such programs or episodes. They think that when they do this, they will not get their platform to be monetized. But I tell you, if we all will come to our senses and begin to let the public know the law, it's going to help us manage our societies or communities very well without causing any harm to the society. Even here on YouTube that we are, I believe we all, before we will be able to allow to operate our channels, there are rules and regulations that if one goes against that, the person might not be allowed to operate in this platform or on. But any law-abiding citizen or person who comes to this platform and can operate as I do and as you are doing, it means that you have agreed, you have accepted to work with YouTube because they have their own laws, they have their own rules. So if you want to work with them, then you have to abide by what they ask you to do. So we have been hearing people say, oh, as for me, some people have asked me not, some people are allowed to operate on YouTube. They are allowed to operate on other social media platforms. But as for me, when I started or begin doing something there, I was restricted. You were restricted because you did not abide by what YouTube was asking you, what that social media handle was demanding from you in terms of law. So I have taken it upon myself to let the society understand that we need to abiding citizens in the world, the society that we are. We need to accept that and begin educating the public the need why we should be law-abiding people in our society. So today, I want to begin educating my people in Ghana. When you come to Ghana, we are on the fourth Republican Constitution, meaning this is the fourth constitution that Ghana have had since independence. Therefore, we have to obey or go by the rules and whatever in that constitution book. So one will ask, what is the essence of that book? The book is not merely meant just for the sake being that it is a book, but it is created, it is made to let people go in certain direction. It help us to manage ourselves. We all, before it came into being, the people in Ghana, there was memorandum of understanding. People input their idea, how they want the law to operate. And later it was assented, or the leaders in Ghana agreed and said, oh, this is what the people in Ghana, the public say they want the laws to be made. And indeed, it has been made. So when you come to Ghana's political history, the 1992 constitution is the longest constitution, which have never witnessed any military breakdown of the law. Because other constitutions, because as I already indicated, we now have the fourth constitution. So others were interrupted because there was military injections, military interventions. Therefore, when the military take over governance, their constitution will become null and void. It will not be useful anymore. So any civilian government comes have to form or do another constitution or go back to the constitution. So this one is the fourth constitution. But I want, if you are Ghanaian, I want you to understand that there are some basic things that we need to know in that our constitution. Therefore, let us all together discuss this. And you know what? Sometimes when we are discussing something like this, many people think that, oh, the constitution is meant for some specific, like I'm mentioning Ghana. It can also reflect back to others. Maybe laws in Ghana might be similar to. There are some basic things that are in Ghanaian law, and you could find it in other states' law, like right to live. Every country protect people's life, give the people the opportunity to live. Nobody has the right to kill a fellow. So this is a universal law which applies to every society in the world. Every society in the world have to go by this. And the right to live, as I said, all these things, there are some basic things that right to good health. Every society have that law. The right to speech, though some people are not allowed, but majority have a right to express their views on how things are going. So let's accept to agree that I want to take you to the law, the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana in West Sahara Africa and of West Africa sub-region. So I believe that you are going to agree with me for us to discuss this issue. So you are welcome to this powerful edition of Legal Matters, and it is on air. We want you to understand that your rights are our priority. So we are discussing one of the most important documents in the Republic of Ghana. That is 1992 Constitution. Many Ghanaians talk about democracy, rights, elections, governance, justice, but few truly understand the supreme law that governs our nation. Many people talk about democracy in Ghana. Many people talk about the rights. What right do I have? Many people talk about true justice. When you have issue, you have to. But how many of them do understand the very supreme law that is used to manage them? So this time I want us to look at some things in that constitution so that we all get to understand it. So if you have joined me, this is KMTV, and we are discussing the 1992 constitution, as I have already indicated. First of all, I say 1992 constitution. So generally, what is constitution at all? This one, whether you are in Ghana or anywhere, what is constitution? When we say constitution, why is it matters? Why does it matter? Why should I take constitution as important document? That is this one, whether you are in Ghana or elsewhere. Why constitution necessary? We will also look at the chapters in the constitution. How many chapters are there in the 1992 constitution, and the very clauses that are in clauses, articles, and what of you. We will discuss it and its relevance. We will also look at the rights and duties of citizens. Every citizens, when you live under the sun of Ghana, and you need to understand that you have rights. There are rights for you, which the Constitution has stated clearly. After the rights that you have, do you also have a responsibility, a role to play? Yes, there is a responsibility for you. You have a responsibility, you have a role to play as a citizen. So all these things, we will learn them, we discuss them, and sometimes we go to experts for in-depth knowledge about how this works. The powers of government. What are the powers of government? And what is even government at all? So we will know all these things. We'll be discussing all these things. Then we will look at the responsibilities and responsibilities every Ghanaian must obey and respect the laws. What are your responsibilities? And in order to obey the law or respect the laws of the land. Because ignorance of the law is never an excuse. I think it is very necessary that we all join hands for us to discuss this very important topical issue. I know it is difficult to get people following you on such discussions or topics because everybody wants the cheapest way of doing things. Because when they are doing funny videos, uneducated videos, you get the numbers following you. But when you decided to do what I'm doing now, to give education to the public, that will position them in future positively or save them from harming themselves. Because when you are ignorant of the law and you fall short of the law, it will not say because you didn't know the law has to, you have to be pardoned or whatever. Once you have faulted the law, you will face the consequences of the law. Therefore, I see it very necessary for us to to make these issues very important to the public and let the public understand. So wherever you are, you can also share this important issue to the rest of the world for them to understand. So let us look at the 1992 Constitution. So what is the 1992 Constitution? Have you ever asked yourself this before? What the Constitution is? So, in breaking down, the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana is the supreme law of Ghana. All the laws are under or within this Constitution. So the 1992 Constitution supersedes any law in the land of Ghana. I am not a legal person. So when we go to school, we were taught in mathematics, we have a universal set. The Constitution of Ghana, 1992 Constitution of Ghana, is the supreme law of all laws. It is the universal law of all laws in Ghana. All other laws are under the 1992 Constitution. They are subset to the universal law, that is the 1992 Constitution. So if you are making any law and it is inconsistent to the 1992 Constitution or with 1992 Constitution, it means that that law that you made cannot stand because it does not its conformity with the law is not possible. So it will not be legal or legitimate for people to obey. So you cannot do a law, you cannot make a law, you cannot enact a law, whether association or whatever. And if it is inconsistent to the 1992 Constitution, then you cannot practice it, you cannot use it. So it will become illegal. So it came into force on 7th January 1993. So it get completed, it became useful. We started using that law on the 7th of December 1992. That was when the fourth Republican Constitution started. So you have to have it in mind. So when somebody asks you, when did the Constitution of Ghana came into effect? That is 7th January 1993. After the referendum and marked Ghana's return to constitutional democracy rule after years of military government. That was when former President J. John Rawlings came as a military coup and later transformed or allowed for Ghanaians to return back to democracy as we used, when he was coming, it was. So he accepted for laws to be enacted and he changed from military rule to civilian rule. So that is some information about 1992 Constitution, how it came to being. Every law, institution, president, minister, judge, police officers, chiefs, and citizens is subject to the Constitution of Ghana. That is the 1992 Constitution. So as I indicated earlier, no person is above that law. That law is supreme. It tells you what to do and what not to do. So if you want to live peacefully in Ghana, you need to look for the 1992 Constitution. So I think you have to know that no person is above the law or the Constitution of Ghana. That's the 1992 Constitution under the fourth Republican Constitution. No law is bigger, is better than 1992 Constitution. So in the Constitution, we have preambles of the Constitution. The preamble is opening declaration of the Constitution. So when you open the 1992 Constitution book, it has a preamble, and the preamble help you to know certain things. So it reflects the hope, values. When you open the preamble, these are some of the things you see. You will see the reflection of hope. Why should we rely on that constitution? And its relevance, values, the values that it carries, and aspiration of the people of Ghana. So the 1992 Constitution, when you open it, you will see the preamble. So in the preamble, it talks about freedom. It talks about justice. It talks about property and accountability. It talks about rule of law. It talks about human rights. It talks about unity and stability. It talks about democratic governance. And it begins with the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana. You see, that is the hope of creation. So this means that the Constitution derives authority from the people themselves. So the powers in that Constitution derive from the people. It is the people who came together and accepted that that document must be accepted and used as the supreme law for the nation. So the spirit of the people, the spirit of the Constitution derive from the people. So you need to know. So one may also ask, how many chapters does the 1992 Constitution have? In my earliest conversation, I made it. Actually, do you know the number of chapters in the Constitution? So in the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, under the Fourth Republic, there are 26 chapters and over 300 articles in that Constitution. Each chapter deals with specific area of governance and national life. Every chapter has specific information that are in. So when you need certain information, you can refer to the chapter, and the chapter will help you know in this chapter, this is what is in the Constitution. So easy for you to be able to track the information you want and use at the point that comes. So important chapters every Ghanaian must know. What are the important chapters in the 1992 Constitution that if you're a Ghanaian, you need to know? So this is the first chapter, chapter 1, that talks about the Constitution itself. The chapter 1 declares the Constitution as the supreme law. In chapter 1, that is where it declares that the Constitution of Ghana, 1992 Constitution, is the supreme law of Ghana. It also says that any law inconsistent with the 1992 Constitution will be treated as null and void, meaning it is not, that document will not be accepted in the society, except the law goes in line with the 1992 Constitution, or the decision action that we take is in line with the 1992 Constitution. Again, chapter 2 also talks about territory of Ghana. It defines the boundaries, territory integrity of Ghana. So the 1992 Constitution, the chapter 2 define the boundaries and the territory integrity of Ghana. So what are the borders of Ghana? So you share border with Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and the rest, the sea, whichever. Chapter 3 of the 1992 Constitution also explain who qualify as a citizen of Ghana. It also talks about citizenship by birth, registration, and naturalization. As you are listening to me, though you are not born, you are not a Ghanaian born, you can become a citizen if you want to naturalize. Then you apply for naturalization. And if they find it that they have to accept you, you can become a nationality. Or before the promulgation of the law, though you were not in Ghana, you were not from Ghana, but you were here when the law was created, then you become a citizen. We have natural citizens who parents by birth they are here, both parents are Ghanaians and also was given birth here. Or even if they are all here and they give birth to you outside, you still qualify being a Ghanaian. So all these things, these are some of the things you need to know in the Constitution. So chapter number 4 also talks about the fundamental human rights and freedoms. What are the fundamental human rights of people in Ghana? It also talks about that. And we need to always understand that the Constitution is very, very important for every citizen in Ghana to obey. If you don't know this, somebody can cheat you. So the benefit of you knowing the law, the Constitution of Ghana, is that no one can cheat you. You will not find wanting. It is important for you to learn the law. So under the fundamental human rights and freedoms, one of the important chapters is the chapter 4 of the 1992 Constitution. Why am I saying that? It guarantees right to live. So if you cannot live, you cannot abide by law. That's why it is very important. So the law guarantees every individual right to live, except when the law made decision that you have to be killed or you don't deserve to live. That law, some people are even agitating that we need to end it. You have the right, a freedom of speech. It is in this Constitution. So you can express your view devoid of attacks or comment that can generate war and whatever. Except that you have the right to create, to express your view. You have a right to freedom of speech, which nobody cannot limit you. You have been guaranteed in the Constitution. So if somebody is doing something wrong, or if somebody is doing something and you want to express your view, it is allowed. Nobody will have qualms with you, except when you made a statement that can generate confusion, that can create problems for the public, for the society. Then we say you don't have the right to do, except that you have the right to do it. In this chapter 2, it also spells out that you have the right of religion, meaning you can join any religion of your choice, which no one can prevent you. No one can say stop joining that. You have a freedom of movement apart from life, the Constitution guarantees freedom of movement. You can move from one point to another without restriction or restricted from. So it is also in that chapter 4 that you'll find this. The right to fair trial. You have the right to fair trial if something goes wrong. If you have issue with me, you can take me to court or any institution that can make determination of the case or the issue that you have with me. But you cannot take the law into your own hands, take decision that, oh, I'm going to beat him or her. Everybody, when you made a case against the person, we say it's been alleged until court of competent jurisdiction declares the stance, the reason why you send the person to court. You don't have that right to pronounce somebody being a thief or a criminal, except the law court says so. So you have to know that. You have right to education. Every citizen in Ghana, education is a right, it's not a privilege. So you cannot say somebody should not be given education. When you say so, it is wrong. It is wrong. So you have to accept that. You have to know that. We also have protection from discrimination. These normally happen to some people. Recently, some vulnerable people in the society, some people take them, example, the aged one, go and set a specific place for them that they are witches and wizards. So they go and put them. They are discriminating against these people. Somebody, because of health condition, so these are not allowed in Ghana. So you are having protection from being discriminated. Freedom of the media, like what I'm doing. I have the right to do media work. I have the right to operate as a media house without any issue. But it should go in line with the law. That's all. The Constitution have granted you that. So no one can say don't write, don't record this. No, but you have the right, a freedom of the media. I can access media. I can do media work. I can call media press conference and airman. Nobody, which I don't have to be asking somebody to give me the go ahead. The chapter protects citizens from abuse of power. Don't say because, oh, now the MPP in opposition, the NDC can harass them. No, the law protect them, or whether you are in government or opposition, the law has to protect every person. So that is in the chapter 4. So you see what is in these chapters. So chapter 5, directive principle of the state policy. I have been hearing people say Ghana need to have state policy or policies. But this, I say, there are directives, principle of the state policy to guide the government on how to govern responsibly, promote social justice and other developments. So in this chapter, that is what is there. Chapter 6 of the 1992 also talks about the executive arm of government, explain the powers, duties of president, vice president, and ministers. So those who fall under the executive arm of government are found in chapter 6 of the 1992 Constitution, which explains the powers that these executives have, the duties of the president, the vice president, and ministers of state. So they are the category of executives. They fall under the executive category. So the chapter 7 also talks about parliament. The parliament, it also defines the role of members of parliament. Do you know the role of member of parliamentarian? They are ruling you. Do you know? You need to know it. You did not let me sit and be talking for you. So you need to know it. Members make law for the country. So their duties, responsibilities are to make laws, enact laws for the society. So members of parliament are not just mere people. They day in, day out, they look into the law where there is necessary for a decision to be made, whether to amend or to add something through parliament, they do so. There are other laws, EI, legislative instrument, executive instrument, and what of you. So these are some of the works of parliamentarians. They debate on issue to find out whether something helps. Chapter 8 also talks about the judiciary. It's so they establishes establish the courts, the judiciary, guarantee judicial independence. It also that justice must not be controlled by politicians. So in this chapter, it states how the court should be established, how judicial independence should work without interference. No, so it guarantees judicial independence. So judiciary are not controlled by politicians. They are not directed by president, the minister, MP, whatever. When courts take decision, it's being supposed that it is independent decision, devoid of any directive from any agency, any politician, offices, whatever. So chapter number 9. The armed forces, police service, security services, they are also in chapter 11. Chapter 9, rather. So it defines the duties of military and police. Security agencies must protect citizens and the Constitution. So the duties of security agencies are there to provide security to the people by protecting and the citizen and the Constitution, so that nobody takes undue advantage of the people. Another chapter talks about freedoms and independence of the media. Very important for journalists to know that this chapter guarantees press freedom, freedom of expression, independence of journalists. No government should sideline lawful media work. If I'm doing a lawful media work, nobody has a right to say that you want to stifle me, you want to control my work. No. Issue of trade and whatever. We have a chapter that talks about decentralization and local governance. So this point also explains metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies promote grassroots governance. So we will take time and take you through all these things for you to understand why it is necessary for you to understand. So these are some of the issues that are in the Constitution. There are duties of every Ghanaian or a citizen living in Ghana. So the 1992 Constitution does not only give right, it also places responsibility on citizens. It also places what? Responsibilities on citizens. Every Ghanaian must respect the Constitution of Ghana, obey the laws of Ghana, protect public property, pay tax honestly, promote national unity, define Ghana when necessary, fight corruption, respect the right of others, protect the environment, promote peace and tolerance. Democracy survives only when citizens are responsible. So it's not only those who are in offices that this law is made for, but you and I, ordinary Ghanaian, we have a responsibility, we have a role to play, whereby we make sure we protect the public property, we obey the laws, we respect the constitution, we pay taxes honestly, we don't pay, we don't do under disclose and whatever. We have to promote national unity. We don't cause some kind of division among our peers. We are all one. So all these things are the things that we need to know. I also want to find out, do you really know the very things Ghanaians must respect under the 1992 Constitution? Do you have in mind something that we must, that it is a must for us to be? One, this is what I have observed. I think that the rule of law, it is very important that every person's respect the rule of law. We need to respect it. These are some of the things that if we respect the rules of